series, where in this series we're going to be learning how to make a blockchain on the Solidity programming language from scratch. So let's begin. First, let me define what kind of blockchain this is going to be. Well, what we're going to do is, for example, let's say John decides to send Tom Ether, and this transaction will be recorded inside of a block, and all the information on this transaction will be recorded. And then eventually, once this transaction is validated by some validators, then this will be uploaded to a blockchain system. And there we go. This is going to be a proof of stake blockchain system. So let's get started. First, let's define our contract and how to actually start our project. And the way to do that is by saying SPDX, and we have to do our SPDX license identifier. And you can just write this down as I have right here. So once you do that, what we can do is we can create we can define the version of Solidity we're using, which we can do that by just saying pragma and then Solidity. Solidity, and then we're going to be saying the version, which is caret 0.8.19, just like so, and then semicolon. You can use different versions if you'd like, but I'm going to be using this one for today's video, and you can follow along if you want to. So now we can make a contract, which pretty much just finds where our code is all going to go, and it's next to this contract we can create the name, which is just going to be blockchain project. And there we go. Now we can create curly braces, and inside of here, we're going to be making our first piece of information, which is going to be a struct defining what a transaction is. So this struct stands for structure. So what is going to be the structure of this transaction, and how to actually define the transaction as a whole. So we're going to name it transaction, and then next to it, we're going to have curly braces, which is going to be defining where all of the information is going to go. And inside of here, we can create our first few piece of information, which first is going to be the UN256 amount. And this UN256 just says that this variable is an integer, right? And then after that, we're going to be doing the receiver, which is just going to be done like so. And then the sender. Just like that. So this address just shows that this variable is an address. So perfect. Now let's create an array, which this array is going to be inputs of transactions. So this array is going to contain a lot of transactions, and these transactions are not going to be the actual blockchain. This is going to be the pending blockchain, or the pending transactions, which is pretty much saying that before these were validated, all the transactions went into this array, so that the actual validators can go into this array and start validating the different transactions. Alright, so let's create it. It's quite simple, actually. So what we do is we just define the type, which is going to be transaction, which is the struct we just made. And so just like so. Just like that. And then we're going to be creating these square bases, which indicates an array. Right? And then we're going to be naming this array, which is going to be pending transactions. Just like so. And then we're going to have a semicolon. And there we go. That just defined our first array of this project. So after we do that, let's create our first function. And this is going to be how to add different transactions to this pending transactions array. So the way we do that is we use the function keyword, and then we follow that up with a name, which is going to be add transaction. Just like so. And then we're just going to add parentheses, and inside of this is going to be the arguments or the inputs of all the users and what they're going to be importing into this function. And first, we needed what they need to import is the piece of information for this transaction. And first, we need to have the UN256 amount, just like so. And then we're going to have to input the address of the receiver, just like that. And actually, we don't need to define the sender, as because in Solidity there's a keyword where we can just say who the sender is by saying msg.sender, and that pretty much just returns the actual sender of the project or of the function, who's calling the function. So after we do that, what we can do is we can call this public, which pretty much just shows that anybody can access it, and then curly braces. So nice. Now that we've done that, we can add this stuff inside of the function. And the way what we're going to add to the function is going to be how to add a piece of transaction or the transaction as a whole into the pending transactions array. And the way we do that is by saying pending transactions dot push, which pretty much pushes the transaction to the array, and then we're going to have the information of it, which is going to be a new transaction, just like so. And there's going to be inputs of these right here. So first it starts with amount, which we just define as amount itself, and then we'll have the receiver, and then finally we need to input the sender. And in Solidity, the way you do that is by just by saying msg.sender, and that's it. Now we add a semicolon, and there we go, just like that. If I misspelled transaction, but now it's complete. Now if someone were to call this add transaction function, the inputted the amount and the receiver, who's going to be receiving this function, they will be capable of adding their transaction to the pending transactions array, where validators will be capable of validating this. And this is what we're going to be working on next episode, where validators are going to be capable of validating the different kinds of transactions within this array. So perfect. That is the first episode of this project. And in the next one, as I just mentioned, we're going to be working on the validator part of things. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one.